Hello everyone, I'm Chaotic. Welcome back to episode number 16 of Meatballcraft. Sorry about all the delays. I went on vacation with my girlfriend for a while, so streams and YouTube videos and everything were quite laid back here. But we're going to be hopping right back into it. In today's episode, we work on fusion, and we finish another full set of dimensions. Thank you for watching. We are going to try and get to maybe Merx, maybe even all the way to the Eden Star today. I don't think this doesn't look too blocked from anything else. I believe we should have zero issues from the recipe checking I had of getting through cold fusion, getting to our Draconic key. I guess we'll press A on this guy. So getting to the Draconic key, this doesn't look too awful. We'll need a few spatial pylons, some rifts in a jar and stuff, crystalline beryllium. All of that stuff isn't hard at all. The basic fusion crafting core, we can't see the recipe for this yet. I'm not sure how bad it is. We'll have to make the key first. But the injectors are completely possible. And the very first step is we have a lot of pieces of fusion. So we got enough stuff for 2 max size fusion cores. I don't know why I chose 2 max size fusion cores, but we're going to make 2 max of them now, just because I'm curious. Alright, this will be a little bit fast, so try to listen. First, we cleared a little bit of area. We built ourselves up a nice little staircase. We built the outer ring for the platform. This is very big. 2 max size reactors is quite large. We extend our connectors out from the main reactor. We put on its electromagnetic fusion stuff. These are the stabilizers. If they aren't there, it doesn't work. We build out a simple floor design, and then we copy and paste that to all 4 quadrants. We put our second reactor on top, and realizing that we need to power all the electromagnets so that the reactors don't melt down, we actually set up a basic thing for cryostabilized flux duct. It's just a dual automation. There's nothing too advanced here. We get all those set up, power every single electromagnet. This is quite important. And then we start setting up the fuel. So we electrolyze water, and then we electrolyze a result from that again, and we can get ourselves some good old hydrogen. The hydrogen goes out, we fluid transpose it out of the cells into a hydrogen liquid, and we feed our first fusion core a double hydrogen mixture. This produces just pure deuterium, and a little bit of power. We send the deuterium straight up into the next fusion core, which gives us the actual results that we need. We're getting our neutron fluid, we're getting our tritium, things that are going to be very important for some recipes, and then we send that out into more fluid transposers to store it all as buckets. Alright. So, Draconic key. 4 spatial pylons, the 4 singularities, 8 tritium crystals, some rifts in a jar, and crystalline beryllium. A simple infusion recipe gets us both of our jars. Being lazy cost me even more time, but we did make all the singularities by hand for some dumb reason. We get the tritium crystals we need by just crystallizing the tritium we're getting from the secondary reactor. And then we make a short trip to Sedna to get the 4 spatial pylons we needed. Easier than crafting them right now. We spend some time on some agricraft breeding. It's not too bad though. And it should just be a matter of pink. Nice, Amarilla seed. Huge. And we manually craft that for now. We will set up a passive for this later, but since we'll need the one, nice and easy to do it dirty. And with that, we should have the last of the things needed for the Draconic key. Perfect. Absolutely fantastic. We just right-click this guy, unlocks us the Draconic stage, and let us see what does the fusion crafting core cost. Default recipe. Beautiful. That's kind of what I was hoping. I'm like, since I can't see it, I hope they're not like... I'm not getting railroaded in some nonsense for the crafting recipe later. I think like 6. To make the injectors we need, we are still missing flux seeds, some Leletian stone which is easy, and Draconic machine frames. After encoding the machine frames, all we're missing for these is indium dust. Indium dust was easy, we just made another little setup to make boric acid and infuse that into some platinum ingots. I spent a while hand making the flux seeds that we needed. Didn't take too long though. Now, it should know. Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, make 10 injectors for me. So with our injectors crafted, we immediately start setting up to upgrade them. First, we upgrade them up to the Wyvern tier. We utilize the Wyvern tier to make some Awakened Draconium, of which we make a seed for it. We go on over, we make the seed cruxes, and we build itself a little plot with the Torturino, which is way faster than we ever needed. But we have a ton of Awakened Draconium. We upgrade the injectors once again, and we can finally start working on our main goals for this episode. Let's get Reia done ASAP. Okay, we need Necromantic and Physidelic Prime. Both primes are simply just natural sorcery craft, very easy. The last thing we need is the Druiden Horn, which comes from just a basic spiritual shift right from Bewitchment. The recipe was a pretty simple one, done in a double purple chalk circle, and it just spawns in some mobs. Our first one, we actually didn't get it, so we had to do the ritual twice to get the Druidenhorn. And with that final component, we're able to both start and finish the Reia infusion craft. We go on up to our space station to put our artifact away. We select our location in the warp controller, and there we are. We had to fill up a little bit more fuel, but we're able to start our warp to Reia. And so with that, we land a rocket onto Reia. We immediately send him straight back to the Shuriken prison, and I'll try to avoid spoilers while we're here, but we go on through to get everything we need from here. First things first, we start doing some ore sampling so we can get a rhenium vein. This will both give us rhenium that we're going to need in large quantities, and also holographic ore, which makes convenient recipes. Rhenium vein. Wow, projector rhenium vein in what? That was only like 7 checks too. That's funny. We build an extractor, set him up with a Dank 7 and a plug. I really should have just had it go straight back to the base through an ender chest, but we'd do that way later on. Not much else on Reia other than puzzle related stuff, although we didn't really mess with that too much. We do break down some rhenium ore using our super smelt pickaxe to start on some rhenium ingots. We converted a bunch of those ingots into catalysts using a mana pool because we're going to need them for some later recipes, and I didn't feel like automating this yet. And speedrunning straight to the Merx artifact, it only took a couple of dreadstones, 2 of the catalysts, and a nether star, and we've got it already. We also turned some catalysts and a nether star into an Eden star, and this is our official introduction into chapter 5. We also take this time to upgrade our dislocator into an advanced dislocator, and we go and collect all of our dimensional locations in the sky finally. Doing the same as Reia, we go launch up, we go and try to land on Merx. We have a little bit of a bug, so we have to ender pearl out of it, but here we are. There we go. We find a little platform with some pretty ominous signs that spawn in a queen boss, like this. So we drop an interdiction torch and we go ham and kill her pretty easy. The queen actually didn't drop anything, but it does look like the resin that spawns in the nest can be used for recipes later, so there's that at least. We collect some lightwood saplings and logs, of which we need right now, to then make ourselves mermatite ore in the plasmatic condenser. Pretty cheap recipe, honestly, it's all EMC. We hit that once again with our Fortunator pickaxe. And with that, we ended day 1 and moved on to day number 2, where we start working on our Eden blocks. Let's go and look at what the Eden block is going to take. We're going to need 14 of these guys. What are we missing? We're missing a lot. We chip off the list. Salt goes into the blood altar to make the lanthanum salt. Eden chunks are just a double encoded recipe from Eden souls. Gold singularities are just an EMC link test locator into our compressor. And a manual staff of rending in Omethal to get the Omethal essence we needed. Alloyed up ourselves some more vibranium, and we threw everything to the Gravitite Enchanter for the jeweled runium that we needed. This 14 Eden blocks on the craft. There it is, beautiful. And with those, we're able to build up our portal and activate it using the Twilight Clock. We flew around Wildwood for a while, killed quite a few things to get some chunks needed to spawn in the boss, and we also did some puzzle related stuff, but I'm not going to do spoilers. This boss was a really easy fight, by the way. Following our essential completion of Wildwood and getting some of the other ingredients we need, we start looking at the fusion crafting recipes on getting the next 8 realm stones for all of the dimensions of this chapter. It's quite the doozy. First step I chose might feel a little bit random, but we head on over to Phocasia to kill some more Tyrosaurs because we need them learned in a data model to get milk chocolate. This is a little bit easier in my opinion than doing the nonsense to actually make it. We start on crafting the center artifacts needed for the realm stones. All of these just kind of take ingredients that we've already accumulated over the chapters. To get the actual realm stone craft, we head on over to Icica to Yonka sapling. We head on over to the Twilight Forest to get a rainbow oak sapling. And on over to Erebus for a mossbark sapling. Unfortunately, we actually broke the whole tree, not realizing saplings could auto-smelt from our fortune pickaxe. So we silk touched a leaf, thankfully. There was 2 left, and used that to get our sapling. And with those funny saplings, we're able to start crafting all the realm stones. Here's just us crafting a few of them, and here they all are. We got them all in a storage crate. We got to prep their portals now. And we begin our first dimension. We go on into Salive. It also plays a little music. So we head into the clown world known as Salive. There's not a whole lot going on in here, honestly. There's some pillars with liquids that we don't really know that we need for the wormhole, but we do eventually go and get those later. We kill a bunch of mobs and we trade with the toy merchant until we're able to unlock the boss mob spawn drop. You wait for the boss to spawn all the way in, he has to float up for a bit, and he dies instantaneously. And there you go, that's Salive finished. There really wasn't a lot in this dimension. And now we head on over to Iron Mine, the world of the mech and the robots. This one's a pretty simple dimension too. We go through it quite quickly. First we find a mechbot altar, we hit it with the golden spring, spawn him in, kill him, he takes 4 shots. Not too difficult. There's another maze that has the Silverfoot altar. I believe we had to use a coin to spawn him in. With both of those statues, we're able to make the Iron Mine Callstone. We summon in the Iron Mine Callstone. It's got a bunch of enemies and stuff in it. I tried to mess with them for a little while, got annoyed, and I cheesed it with the storage scanner from the roof. And so we move into Gardensia, the world of the walking, living, and quite dangerous plants. We find the dungeon that has the Vinocorn in it, and we kind of glitch through the floor to go and do him. We use some flower petals on top to spawn him in. He's a pretty easy boss fight, and this actually finishes Gardensia. There's some puzzle-related stuff here, but no spoilers. And we're heading on into Crystivia, the world of the living crystals. We're going to speedrun these two real quick because they're both pretty simple. Vibranium ingots spawn in some of the basic structures around. The boss spawner is pretty easy. You hit it with some giant crystals and spawns in crystal cores. Crystal core statues used to make its wormhole. Spawn in the wormhole. It's got some dragons and other bosses that we've already fought before there. Pretty easy to kill though, and inside of it there is a chest that has our wormhole in it. Straight after this, we're going to start heading into the world of Haven. Haven is the world of the angels, which is also pretty easy. We almost immediately find the boss spawner that we need. You link up the redstone, you turn it all on, and you right click with the Voliant Heart. Voliant Heart spawns in the 4 like crystal guardians or whatever. You kill them all, they're pretty easy. You need their statues in just a second. You get some floating stones, you get these from killing some of the mobs, throw them into the void, and they'll drop back down from the sky as some heavy rocks. Heavy rock drop on the floor, spawns in Rock Rider. Every 15 seconds, Rock Rider switches between ranged and melee immune, so keep that in mind. You can see it on this little visual, and that finishes Haven. And after Haven, we head on into Candyland, the 7th dimension, and this one really only has one plan here. So we eat a little candy bag. You can make it from killing some of the mobs around, and it's an easy craft, and it spawns in the boss called the Cotton Candor. The Cotton Candor, unfortunately, is immune to everything except for magic damage. And technically true damage as well, which is the route I decided to take. You can use stabs to kill it, but I decided to try to get the Zenith. Zenith is an extra botany weapon, my bad. And we have to build up our arena. We have to challenge the Gaia Guardian Tier 3, which is pretty simple. It's just a challenge ticket on a slightly larger Guardian arena. Ridiculous amounts of projectiles and stuff in this fight. Pretty funny, slightly annoying fight, but honestly not too bad overall. And then we craft ourselves using the Metal of Heroism from that, the Excalibur. The Excalibur does 1 singular true damage per swing. The Cotton Candor has 3000 HP. So, 30 minutes later, I get the Cotton Candor down to 1 health. Literally 30 minutes of me sitting here clicking, following, floating it around. I realized that it can't actually die to the damage from the Excalibur. It doesn't say that anywhere, so I do cheat in one of the Cotton Candor like withering potion things. So I immediately go, we make the callstone that we would have normally done for it. We go to Oi, we do the terraforming on Oi to transfer or to turn it into some Candyland biome stuff so that we can actually spawn in the callstone. Whenever we spawn the callstone, it destroys all of our terraforming stuff, but that's whatever. We spawn in the boss, the Sugary Meatball Fiend. He's not difficult, he can't fly and he's not ranged, so we just chunk him down. He's got 100,000 HP. Just a matter of time. We kill him, we get the special diabetic meatball, the diabetic sentient meatball specifically, and that is craft with some potion sprayers, gives us the cotton candy withering spray. Cotton candy withering spray that I made earlier. We went through, we did the stupid callstone and everything to make it normally. There we go, bada bing, bada boom. And he'll go out righteously in the trash can that we made for our bees. Bink. There we go, just so that I didn't actually, I didn't get any resource advantage. I didn't keep going. I didn't get extended progression and do this later or anything. I got it done right after. That still was easier than making 10 of these in total. That would have been a pain. Whatever. There we go. Just to round that one out. And we move on into Mysterium, the world of the walking, living mushrooms. Kind of interesting. Honestly, not bad. We kill some mobs around to get some stuff that we'll need later. We find a mystic shroom inside of this castle-like structure that had spawners in it. We also find this custom-made structure that spawned in, and it says it's a boss fight. We hit the button, it spawns in some dragon slayers. Really easy. We had too much protection. They actually couldn't hurt me. We kill them all, and we get some demonic dragon will, which we're not going to use forever. We craft ourselves a Shroom Stone, which is just from normal mob drops, and it spawns in, I believe it's called the Shroom Lord, King Shroomus. It was pretty easy. It gives us statues that we're going to need, and we fly around looking for these other custom structures. They have hints in them needed to craft a wormhole. I won't show those because it's a little bit of a spoiler, but that's Mysterium done. And on to our last dimension, the Vox spawns. This is the land of radiation. I didn't build a hazmat suit because I didn't feel like dealing with it, so I speedran this dimension. We found an Enigma table, we broke it, got the uncharged stone, we collected some of the toxic waste from the top land, craft those together, and you get yourself some Vile Stones. Find a Voxelon altar, right-click the Vile Stones on it, it spawns in Voxelon. Super easy to kill. We killed all 8 of them to make sure we had all of our statues, and we got out of there. Vox spawn's done quick. So following the completion of the dimensions, we decided to start doing some other odd jobs. We make some magnetic monopoles, pretty easy in a fusion controller. We upgrade our inert crystal 1 time. We do the special puzzle we need to upgrade it again to the phased crystal, or the phasing gem. We'll need that later. And we realize that we need barocynthium. So we make some baron gems, we do their little puzzle for that, and then we check everything else we need. And we realize that we're going to need ourselves some beautiful varzium, of which we just have ore, so we can ore duplicate this with our pickaxe. Super nice and quick. And then we're going to need spirit fuel, which is just coal in a mana pool, but we're out of mana. So I decided to do the only sane thing, and I fight a bunch of Gaia Guardians. We fight the normal one, we fight the tier 3, we get some medals of heroism, we make the enhanced card to fight the tier 4 Gaia, which by the way is moderately harder. And then that's really it. We actually don't get what we needed done today, but we got very close to getting the specialty mana pool, which is the guilty one, it's a creative tier item. So we'll do that tomorrow. Moving to day number 3, I'd funnily enough completely forgot what we were working on, so I started looking at the Mythic processors instead. We start assembling some patterns, and we do a really basic setup to automate the ultimate nuggets, which is how we'll get our ultimate ingots for quite a while, just using some neutron fluid. We go and we mob spawn some pixons. We just caught one in an imprisonment tool, respawned them because we needed the glistening infusion crystals. We look at what else we're going to need for them. We need some nichrome heating coils, we need crystalline lenses, and we're going to need a bunch of the specialty plates and such, so the garnet plates and normal plates from Tech Reborn. I figured that these things aren't too hard to set up, and so we start working on them immediately. We pop up a little simple system to just passive nichrome plates constantly into a drawer, so we'll buffer up 2,000 of them. For Mana Steel, we realize that we can actually use some pristine Haven Guardians, so we go and grab a model for them, we go back, we spawn them in with the Voliant Heart and the little redstone setup, and murder them all up to superior tier. We set up the 4 models that we made, and there we go, that's Mana Stone passive. Could have done this with mana, but like I said, I didn't make the creative mana pool yet, so we got distracted. Crystalline lens we set up in a basic crafter recipe, and then we decided to set up the Tech Reborn plates in a little 4 rolling machine setup. We used a compressor setup as well to do the specialty plates, and we built a Starlight altar. That's quite a lot done, and that was really all we did today. We didn't actually get that much done in terms of goals, but we set up a bunch of really basic automations stuff that we'll need to get our crafting done later. Alright guys, this is going to be some passive speedrun time. First, we set up a quantum network tunnel so that we can link on up to our astral sorcery stuff, because we want this guy to be able to work the package recipe coder and actually go directly off of orders from the IMI system. That's going to be very important for later, since we need a lot of these things in large quantities. We connect up our crystal supply from our astral section that's naturally duplicating them, and we also give that a big backlog just to make sure that it doesn't run out for anywhere in the near future. We go and look at what we're going to need for our next stuff, and we're going to need some tellurium crystals. These are pretty easy. Use some crystallizers to get crystallized carbon. You craft up the crystallized carbon, use the crafter for that, into some dense carbon clusters. You can send those guys on into a thaumatorium with some Reia. The Reia, we decide to use one of the mechanized Essentia smelteries. Don't use this, just use a normal smeltery with some things on it. It's way easier that way. We did use a level emitter to keep this locked down at 60,000, so it didn't eat all of our Reia supply. We start looking at resource production where we can get chickens, and roosts are going to be the way to do that. To make the roost though, we're going to need amber and petrified wood. Easiest way for amber and petrified wood was the cold iron forge. The recipes looked really cheap here, honestly, so I got everything to make 4 of them. Built 4 of them up on our top floor, kept them nice and easy, super cheap, objectively, linked them on up to an interface, and passively supplied them with everything we needed. Make sure you use a limited item filter, and actually set your limited item filter. I didn't do that, had to go back and fix it later, but the recipes do have conflicting ones. We set up all the recipes in both of these sets, and we're having 2 making amber and 2 making petrified wood constantly. We go with that, and we are able to start making our roost. Roosts are not, any of them aren't tile-level entities, so you can actually just copy-paste gadget them. So we copy it, you just copy both corners, you make sure you save this gadget, you throw your draconium in, you wait for it to finish up nice and easy, and it's as simple as just clicking the gadget again with the stuff that you have in your inventory. Super easy. I would recommend naming them with an anvil and keep gadgets for things like this around. We also are going to need a chicken stick to actually use the roost, which turns chickens into an itemized result. We need some soulful wax for that, so we do a little bit of breeding to get the soul queen. Very easy. Throw it on into an apiary and kickstart it a little bit with some time in a bottle. We centrifuge that down into some soulful wax, which is what we actually needed for the, I believe it was like the Scornful Oblivion and Essence of something. I can't remember. The Shallow Heart? Grave? Something like that. Pretty easy though. We make our Essence of Scornful Oblivion, the big craft, and then the chicken catcher. The chicken catcher just itemizes chickens, turns them straight up into an item, and that can go directly into a roost. We gather some rainbow druids from Christivia. They're just item drops from mobs because we want to make all the Christivia chickens. We need the gemstone chickens for some later stuff. We decide to make a lunium because we're going to need ourselves quite a lot of astral diamonds. The lunium, however, is going to need mana, so we continue on the project to build the mana pool. We dupe some terrasteel crystals, just with their crafting recipe, nothing cheating here. And then we went and we set up the recipe for the creative mana pool to see what else we were missing. We actually weren't missing much, thankfully. We just needed a few flowers crafted, which are going to be easy, and 4 orichalcos. Thankfully, orichalcos' really only expensive part is the Metal of Heroism, but we'd already farmed those fighting the Gaia on the other one. We craft up the 4 orichalcos, and we actually end the stream here because of some technical difficulties, unfortunately, but we continue right on the next day, straight back on track. We craft up the flowers that we needed, not too bad, not too difficult, and we're able to actually order a creative mana pool. This guy is exactly as it seems, he just never runs out of mana. We make a compact machine to set up the Lunium auto farm. It spawns in mobs that drop dungeon loot. Don't use a compact machine for this, please. They can actually spawn outside the machine, and they never despawn for some reason, so this was a bad setup for me, but I did figure out that you can tick accelerate the Lunium, which is pretty amusing with the creative mana pool. Do this somewhere not inside your base, and make sure it's in a different dimension, otherwise normal mob spawning rules won't actually allow it to go. So, with that going, we were able to actually get the Grand Magic Gems, the Grand Astral Gems, Grand Magic Crystals, that's what they're called, and we're able to craft up the eggs that we need. This gives us a full set of 6 eggs from Christivia, and it's all of the different gemstone chickens. These guys are going to be really needed for later productions. And that is honestly about all we have time for today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, though, and I hope you did appreciate it. I know that I went fast in a lot of parts of this, but this pack has a lot going on, and it's hard for me to cover everything up to any higher level of detail without this being one of those series that, you know, ends up with 100 episodes in it, and that's not the kind of content I like watching, so I kind of build my own content around that, but I really do appreciate everyone that watches and supports the channel for this. I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. I'll try to make sure that one actually gets out quicker. Thank you so much for all of your support, and have an absolutely wonderful day. Peace.